There we go. There's Chip.
Sweet.
Vegan Power Lab, everybody. Vegan Power Lab is really awesome. He hasn't had the channel for long. I think we discussed it's been about 8 months that he's been uploading. So it's kind of amazing what he's doing, because it takes quite a long time to, make a channel and makes good content. But he's making good content, all right. So we'll have a look at this discussion that he's had. This is called French Girls Resist Vegan Propaganda.
Sweet.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
From my point of view, I know also people that live in areas where they live with animals and they love their animals and they make their animal grow, and at a time they will eat them because it's the way.
Out of curiosity, Kenny, do you think you can love animals and eat them?
I was gonna say, I was waiting for that part. I've never ate someone that I love, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a loving thing to do, really, is it?
Yeah, not at all.
Put you in my stew because I love you.
Yeah. As long as you say that, like, they love their animals. Like, what do you even mean when you say that, right?
Yeah,
you're just saying it, really.
Yeah, it's just it's like there's all these euphemisms and sayings that go around, like, how we have to say processing or harvested instead of like killing, or or we have to call ourselves animal lovers and talk about how much we love dogs when we're eating animals. It's just, yeah. Anyway,
way they live.
What do you think of oppression? Not depression, oppression. Do you know what oppression is?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to give us your definition so that we're aligned?
Oh, so it's not my definition. I searched because I also am like, how do I define oppression? And it says prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or exercise of authority.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're against oppression.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're against oppression.
That's the thing. That's what I love about what Chip does, because of course that's what people say. Of course, I'm against that. Of course,
it's perfectly set up. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's revealed that actually, of course, they're not.
Yeah, how is this not oppression? Like, they would have to then explain how it's not what he's just defined. It's perfectly defined.
Absolutely, yeah. So I love this setup.
Yeah.
Oppression. Okay. Why is it bad to oppress people? What specifically makes it bad to oppress a person?
But you take on freedom of people, which is
because you take the freedom away. And why is that bad?
Because your freedom stops where the other one starts.
Okay. And again, I ask again, why is that bad? Like, because I understand all of this.
Because there is no reason why some people should be able to do what they want and others should not. There's no reason to divide people and decide that some of them should be free and have the freedom to oppress and others shouldn't.
Because they want to be free. Can we agree on this? Because the other person wants to be free.
Yeah.
Just
that's
like
why
you want to be free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And I'm going to throw some hypotheticals out there in a situation where somebody wants to oppress somebody. Let's say they want to put them, I don't know, in a cage or something, because we've been talking about freedom. Okay. So what if this person that's being oppressed cannot comprehend that they're being oppressed?
Nice.
Does it make it okay to oppress them? If they can't understand that they're being oppressed.
Like, I don't really understand what.
Tu veux dire quoi?
Je sais pas, ça veut dire quoi? Que tu comprends pas?
Oui, est-ce que c'est ok d'oppresser des gens si eux ne comprennent pas qu'ils sont opprimés? Ouais. Non?
No, okay. So it doesn't matter if they understand it or not.
Yeah.
What if they look different?
No, it doesn't matter either.
They have a lot of hair, different skin color or something? No. Okay. What if they're born with the purpose of being oppressed? Somebody like their parents say, I raised this child solely so that others can oppress them.
Still no?
It's still not either. Yeah, it's
doesn't
not
make
a reason.
it okay.
It doesn't make it okay.
Okay, what if everybody's been doing it and for hundreds of years?
It's still not okay?
It doesn't change it, right? It still doesn't make it okay. Okay. What if the oppressor would go broke if they stop oppressing?
Would go broke,
C'est-à-dire,
which
si
is
tu deviens pauvre, si l'opprimé devient hyper pauvre,
just the oppression.
Let's say if the oppressor stops having any money after all, like they have to change their job or they have to do something else, would it make it okay for them to continue oppressing?
It's not going to be okay for them to be oppressing, but I mean, if they do oppress people, it means that they're okay with it.
Yeah, but like morally speaking, what do you think about it?
est-ce que moralement, du coup, ça devient
Oh,
ok?
no.
Non, still not.
Still not okay.
Still not okay. Okay.
Moi aussi.
And the question is, do you think we should care more about the oppressor and how they feel, or about the oppressed and how they feel?
I think we should care equally about
Yeah.
both, especially if the oppressor has grown in the system of oppression and doesn't realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. But once they realize what they're doing, should we care about them wanting to continue oppression or
No.
about the oppressed?
No, we should care about the oppressed.
Okay.
We should care about making people feel.
As you can see, as the vegan, this is just being perfectly set up with each and every question.
Yeah, you did really good there to like not let that one slip as well. It's
Mhm.
just like what's so interesting is like why do people think that it's only humans that want to be free though, right?
I know.
They're like, you want to be free, right? Like as if it's totally obvious, but that can't be extended to animals, or at least I'm anticipating that it's not going to be.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like being equal with each other.
Okay. And so all of this social experiment has been leading to this final question. I'm not trying to catch up on it. I used to participate in it too. What do you think about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses for us?
The animals that we force into.
Slaughterhouses for us.
Que les animaux qu'on force à aller dans des.
Dans des abattoirs?
Exactement, des
Oh,
abattoirs.
okay. No, it's not okay.
It's not okay. Would you say that we are oppressing them?
I find it a very complicated question. The question of animals.
It's always very complicated, isn't it?
It's all of a sudden became Pythagoras
Complex.
theory or something.
Yeah.
Like
Now
really.
it's the Da Vinci Code.
Oh yeah. Pythagoras was vegan, eh? Or
Yeah,
still
I think so.
apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all of a
Almost
sudden
don't-
becomes
sorry.
hard, right? No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
It's okay.
It just shows like it's interesting because they were saying earlier about like people who are oppressing, if they are like we should consider them because they are in a system where if they're not aware that they're
Yeah.
doing it, and it's just like actually this like in that kind of mindset when you're doing it, you are so not aware if you've been indoctrinated of just like how horrific the things that are happening to animals are.
Yeah. It's obviously a battle within herself because she knows as soon as if she just like agrees up front, yeah, totally, then she has to admit that she's doing it and it's wrong.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
we'll see
and
what happens.
nobody wants to be perceived that way. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah.
eat meat, but for many reasons. But I know it's also a question of the chaîne de, like kind of like je sais pas
Like
comment dire.
survival chain? Is that
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
like a
trying to say?
survival chain. Like people, like les carnivores mangent de la viande. Enfin,
Oh, I understand what you mean. Like a trophic chain where
yeah,
Yeah.
like the big animal eats the smaller animal.
yeah. But
Just like in the sea. But I think it's
Yeah, it's not okay.
but we
not
don't
okay.
need to do
And-
any of it, right?
no, we can eat meat without being oppressing animals.
Well, we can.
What? we could eat meat without oppressing animals. So what do they mean? Like hunting
Without
them?
the
Like maybe that's what they mean. But then obviously that comes with a whole host of other issues, like taking an individual's life away, sort of thing.
yeah.
Eat plant-based meat, we can survive and thrive on plant-based
Yeah.
solutions, right? We
Yeah.
don't need to be
Oh, they
enslaving, exploiting, and abusing
Exactly, but
animals
for
for our
example-
own needs.
For example, from my point of view, I know also people that live in areas where they live with animals and they love their animals and they make their animal grow, and at a time they will eat them because it's the way they live. But it's not the same mindset because
Do
you
you
know
have
what
a
you're
pet?
doing.
it's not the same mindset. Just so you know, as long as you're thinking about it differently, then like the killing is like not a problem.
Yeah, and because it's the way they live comment is always really interesting as well. But not
Yeah.
it's not like it's uncommon, but it's like it's the way they live. All right, cool.
Yeah,
So
all
just
right. Yeah.
insert anything you want, and then just be like, it's just the way we live.
Yeah, just
So it's
carry
fine.
No.
No. Did you ever like a pet, like a cat or a dog?
It's funny that we just talked about it actually. Not mine, but yeah, I had a lot of animals around me from my friends that I really like. Yeah.
Would you say you couldn't love them by raising them and at some point just kill them for your own pleasure?
I wouldn't, but I kind of understand the way other people do think about it, because it's like I specifically have a person in my head, and I know how he thinks and how he lives, and I found it also pretty the way he.
What is pretty about taking a sentient individual's life against their will?
Long pause.
For optional products, because it's optional. We can survive and thrive without it. None of it is needed.
Very
I
long.
don't really know. Like, I mean, I
See how it wasn't hard to like. It's never hard for people to put themselves in the victim's position when we speak about humans, because we know we are human and we know how we feel about things. But she just like, from the moment that we've revealed what the subject matter is, it doesn't sound like she's perceived the animal yet. Has she? She's speaking about like this person she knows, and oh, but he's got this like lovely, sweet personality and whatever. But she's like not remembering that the victim at that point.
No.
As soon as it's a
Absolutely.
non-human, you just forget them.
It's like it can't even be conceptualized, which is
Strange, man.
I just also can hear this point of view when it's a sensitive way of doing things and knowing things. I'm against the big the fast production of meat. Of course, I am against that, but
Why are you?
again, this comes up every time. Like, how can it be the case that you can be against that, like for an ethical reason, where you wouldn't be also against smaller operations?
I don't
Like,
know.
I don't understand at all. No.
I never had I genuinely never had that. That wasn't part of my like process to becoming vegan. I never had that thought. Everybody thinks they're against the current system, but everyone goes to McDonald's, so I don't really get it.
Yeah, like even like big names, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I only do like free range," like, and then they'll admit
No,
that
you
they go to like McDonald's and get like the patties, and it's like, well, the McDonald's patties, they're not coming from a small local farm, so you're saying that it's like we like to think that we go to these places as well, but like that's not true. What's happening? Yeah.
against that?
because it's all the same. It's pollution. It's not knowing what you're doing. It's not knowing what you're eating. It's just
So it's just the environment. It's nothing to do with how the animals.
I think for both of us, because I also don't barely eat meat, it's more about the environmental cause.
Yeah.
Okay, so because the whole social experiment has been oppression, right? And we obviously oppress these animals because we force them into situations that they themselves wouldn't want to be in. We enslave them because we don't give them freedom, right? And none of these animals get to choose what they want to eat or what they want to do. And the minute when we say that they need to die, they die, even if they don't want to die, right? So everything, all of these animals, regardless, like the love that you claim that this person has for their animals is the same love that I have for my laptop or for my camera. I love them, I take care of them, but the minute they're no longer good, I replace them and I get something else. It's the same love we have for these animals, because true love, like if you love somebody, you don't slaughter them, you don't kill them, right?
No, for sure. But I mean, I think that people that do raise animals also wait a time where the animal is like at the end of his life to, like, I don't know.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They kill them at prime slaughter age, which
Yeah.
is often when they're teenagers.
there's a million reasons why they don't. Right? I don't want to put lower the animals down. Like ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's just horrible, but we don't, because like nobody would eat like an old animal that's been through the ringer, been through their whole life, and or at least as far as I'm aware, it's like not enjoyable to eat them. We don't eat them.
And it's like mutton, for example, is like older sheep. But yeah, like even they're not very old, and it's very tough. So
yeah, I think people confuse they don't understand that there's like the breeding animals, like the mother that we use to continuously give us the babies, and it's the babies that we eat. I don't think people really actually get that, right?
No, they're not getting that they're babies.
Yeah.
Right, let's carry on.
Yeah, but nobody does that because the meat wouldn't be good. It would be very chewy. It wouldn't animals, and also a lot of them cannot financially justify keeping them alive for so long. Like a cow can live up to 20 years, and for meat they're killed at 1 or 2 years. That's less than 10% of their life. So they imagine keeping them 10 times more alive, and imagine also about the environmental impact of that. Since you care about the environment, like keeping an animal alive for 10 times the amount just to get the same amount of meat, because they don't grow any bigger after a while. So you see, like in that sense, yeah, they can justify it because they see them as products, but they are not products. They're sentient individuals, are they not? Yeah, like, do you know what sentience is? Because I've been saying it for a while now, and I'm not sure if you know what it is.
So sorry, can you say the word again?
Sentience.
No.
Sentience? No.
So it's synonymous with consciousness. It means that all of these animals, they have a subjective experience. They see the world around them. They experience it. They have free will. They have emotions. They have feelings. They feel happiness. They feel sadness. This is kind of what sentience is. And all of these animals have it just like we do. And the reason why it's bad to do it to a human being is because of sentience. And the same reason it should be bad for an animal to do it.
Yeah.
But so we talked about society, but I want to come down to you. What is it that you want to do about it? Knowing all of this, do you want to keep participating into the system of exploitation, abuse, and slaughter, or do you want to say no to all of it and just leave the animals alone?
We already answered the question.
We already don't eat meat, so.
But you say you
Not
will
for
eat
the
a
same
little
reason.
bit of meat, right?
Yeah, but it's because when we go to our parents' house, for example, we can't force our parents to
stop the
live
way they're
differently.
living.
So I think we chose our way, but we can't force the people around us, especially people like our parents, which don't have the same belief on that type of causes.
Do you eat cheese or dairy products?
Yeah, I eat dairy products.
Do you know about anything about the dairy industry?
Yeah, we know some stuff, but
So cows, in order to have milk, what needs to happen?
does it need to produce milk?
Yeah, in order to produce milk, what needs to happen?
So to have babies?
Exactly. So farmers, they don't just wait for them to decide to have babies, they forcefully impregnate them. Somebody puts their hands in their anus, folds their cervix, and injects full semen. That's standard practice. After 9 months, when the baby is born, if the baby is a male, well, all babies get separated from the mothers. So you can already see online, if you will watch online, you see footage of cows running after their children because they get taken away right after birth. If the baby is a male, they go to the slaughterhouse because they're useless. They don't produce milk.
Yeah.
If the baby is a female, they get put into the same cycle of exploitation and abuse year over year.
It's like a tiny, minuscule little taste of what it feels like to be forced, right? When people like do that, they're like, it's so ironic because they're showing like how much they hate being forced into something. They're like, oh my god, like you're forcing me to like make this decision and give up this and give up that, and it's like what you're forcing on someone else is so much worse than that. You're only just like reinforcing the point that like being forced to do something is it sucks. Yeah. When you get upset about what you feel that this guy's trying to force on you.
It's like I hate that I'm being forced to not drink milk from cows. Like, oh, that's like a minor inconvenience, or like not even really. Like, you still get your teas, you still get cereal because you've got like other milks, whereas they literally get babies taken away from them, like which if you read the psychology of cows, its literature on cow behavior, the distress that they feel when that happens is so horrific, because they're mammals, and just like other mammals, they create strong bonds with their babies, and they're just taken away.
Yeah, literally. So it's just like anytime they use that argument where they're just like, oh my God, like, stop forcing me, man, this is awful. It just reinforces the point so much, man, because it's just not it's just literally not an ounce on what you're forcing on countless others.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So
Forced
funny.
impregnation as their mothers. And after 6 to 8 years, they go to a slaughterhouse themselves because the farmer can no longer justify keeping them alive financially. And they can live up to 20 years, so they don't live even half their life. So what is it that, wouldn't you say this is exactly like consuming meat? The animals go through exactly the same practices.
Yeah, it's bad too.
It's bad. And like you say that you go to your parents, and like if your parents kill a dog and put the dog in front of you, it doesn't matter why, all of a sudden they want to kill a dog or a cat or both and put them in front of you on the table, would you eat that?
Probably not.
There you go. So you still have a choice in the matter, what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
so then it seems like you basically have no arguments against why you should keep participating in it, other than maybe you want to keep participating in it, but do you want to keep participating in this?
No. No.
Do you know what veganism is?
Yeah.
Walk me through it just to be sure that you have the right definition, maybe.
But not eating anything that's coming from or is animal.
Exactly. And but veganism is not just a diet. It's not, veganism is not a diet at all, like as you said, eating. Veganism is a moral principle of opposing the commodification of animals. That means we don't want animals to be exploited, abused, or slaughtered for us. We don't want them to be treated like objects, like when they're no longer good, we kill them or stuff like that, right? It basically means it's a logical extension of human rights, of basic human rights, in the sense that if you think a human deserves to live and deserves to have to decide for their own body, it's the same what applied to animals. They deserve to live and to decide for their own body. Would you say that's a sensible thing to believe?
Yeah, of course.
So then it sounds to me like you're halfway there. You just got to align your actions with your morals. And I've heard some reasons, but what do you want to do going forward with this? Do you want to participate in this violence towards animals, or do you want to just cut it off and go vegan?
I think it's a choice that anyway we have in mind, because we already took some action, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that maybe we will reflect upon, and but I'm not going to say on the microphone, yeah, I'm going to become vegan, because it's not true, to be honest. It's just not true, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think.
Can I ask why? Because you say it's not true. That means you have something in your head that says,
yeah, because
we'll still do it. Why?
It's a complicated lifestyle, especially when the people around you are not following it, especially in our society. Today, I go to work with my colleagues.
She's just showing that, one of the big reasons we do certain things is because society says it's okay.
Yeah.
As soon as society says it's not okay, then suddenly people are following.
And everybody's worried about, she's worried about being mocked by people, clearly. It's just the social backlash of it that people are scared of as well.
Yeah.
In it,
Yeah. Which is really sad, because a good society would be one that that allows the good values, the values that consider the interests of others, to actually be considered. But no, it's kind of scary that a society can just be something that affirms people in a way where they'll do things that are horrific, just because society says.
Yeah, it's we're not pretending that the social backlash might not be there. It might be there depending on what your company's like, but it's just, it doesn't amount to close to what you're continuing to support. It just isn't an excuse, man. It's a minor inconvenience in comparison.
Absolutely.
We go to the restaurant every day for lunch. At the restaurant in France, there is no vegan option, and I'm not gonna stop going out with my colleagues and excluding myself from work because I want to go vegan. That's also part of the.
Literally use Happy Cow. You can find restaurants with vegan-friendly options. They have ones with options. They have fully vegan restaurants. They have vegetarian restaurants, and it's this thing where people say you can't be vegan in France, but you know, I've checked, and there's loads of French restaurants that have like even vegan options. So I don't know what people mean when they say that.
It's just not like, I mean, I've never encountered sorry about that. I've never encountered difficulty with that. It's just not a thing. People think it is, but it's really, really not. Almost everywhere has vegan options.
That was someone zooming to France because they realised now there are vegan options. So they're like, right, I'm off on holiday.
Yeah.
Classic.
The truth, you know, it's complicated to do. And to be honest, I also want to keep my social life. And today, I think in many countries, it's not possible to maintain.
Social life, dead. Social life, gone. I don't socialise, actually. I have never spoken to anyone. I don't speak. Because I am vegan. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything, of course.
What is this extreme scenario she's painting? Just isn't a thing.
I know. Oh.
In your social interactions, if people around you are not also in that vegan lifestyle.
But because you mentioned where in France? Is it Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've been to.
Well,
Paris.
don't get me wrong. It's incredibly frustrating that people don't follow that because you know what happens as a consequence if people don't. But it doesn't suddenly mean that your social life dies. I help me, Kenny. Help me.
No, it doesn't. She said it's Paris, by the way.
Paris. There's so many. It's a city.
No doubt that it's easy to be vegan in Paris. There's absolutely no doubt.
No doubt. That's literally where I've checked as well. And there's like amazing vegan restaurants there as well.
Surely.
Amazing vegan bakeries. Just can't believe it.
Paris. There's always vegan.
There we go. Literally. That's what it, thank you. Yeah. If you go on Happy Cow, you can see. Yeah.
Oh my God, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere, literally, because it's a city. Like it's gonna have all these options.
But near my work, there is no vegan options. You know what I mean? That's the truth.
It said, by the way,
No,
91 exclusively vegan restaurants. 91 exclusively. So that's not talking about the vegetarian ones. That's not talking about the ones that are vegan friendly, that have the options. That is just the vegan ones. So yeah.
Say if you find vegan options near your work, right?
Yeah,
because as far as I understand, you're saying that there's no availability for you, but I'm sure you can find it. Because
800 restaurants with vegan options in Paris. Come on now. It would take you like 2 years, over 2 years, 2.5 years to get, like, if you went to a restaurant every day to get through all the restaurants that have like options for you. And you're saying there's no availability.
I love that he put this in. What a legend.
Yeah. It's important because people say these things and people listening think, oh yeah, no, that they're actually got a point there. But if you can show no, they haven't got a point at all. It just demonstrates it better.
And by the way, I went vegan being from like a small village, and never once like struggled.
No.
Just to put it out there.
Yeah, like obviously it's going to range from country to country, but like especially if you're in a city like Paris, it's just saying that you don't just demonstrates that you've never looked. That's all it demonstrates.
Yeah, but I didn't even struggle to be vegan when I was living in a village with a population of 4,000 people.
No, it's
there's enough vegans nowadays also in Paris and everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
The question is, do you want to keep going with this, right? Because it's not about what the products are, about your choices. It's about the fact that when you make these choices, you inflict on somebody else's choices to live and to decide for their own body, right? For body autonomy. It's not it's like, if we think about it, because we can easily think about it, because we're disconnected. All of these industries, they disconnect us from what is the truth behind it, right?
That's why I was talking about the fact that people that do it from their hands and know what they're doing, it's different, and it's I can.
But it's still not fair towards
It's
the
not
animal.
fair, but it's more consciousness because you
It's
know
more-
what you're doing.
You're more conscious because you know what you're doing, but that doesn't make it better, right? Like if I pay for somebody to kill a
If you know you're doing a bad thing and you do it, arguably that's worse.
And apparently just knowing someone that does it is enough to like be someone who doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But you know someone who does, so you can just say it and it sounds cool and then continue to be a normal person. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
That's my
person.
friend.
It is it's marginally better than me killing the person myself, but my responsibility is still there. The person still dies. So you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think to end up a little bit of this interview, I feel like the sensibilization you're doing is very important, and it's interesting to know. Now, just saying, yeah, I'm just gonna how she said, I'm just gonna go vegan after this talk is not true, because it is not true. But I think it's gonna, like, it's a good way of thinking about about veganism and the reality of animals treatment today, and it's a way of us talking with other people and starting a wave. But we're not going to say that.
Okay.
Like
I just want to, from this discussion, to understand one thing. Do you understand your responsibility in the matter? You understand that because you consume an animal product, animals go into these slaughterhouses? So
depends on what you consume, but yeah.
Well, any animal product puts animals into slaughterhouses.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. There's no exploits them and puts them into slaughterhouses at the end, right? That's number one. Number two, do you understand that you can't stop?
Yeah.
Okay, so that it is a choice for these animals to go into these places for you on your behalf. Okay, that's all I want you to get from this discussion. And going further, I'll give you some resources. Can you promise me you're going to look a bit more into it, just to be sure that you know what you're paying for? Okay, I like that. Let me just tell you real quick. If you scan this or go on this website and put in this code, there's a thing called the most important speech you'll ever hear.
I'm going to challenge your belief systems today, so certain parts of the speech will be intense.
It teaches you about the practices in animal agriculture, dairy, eggs, honey. Maybe you don't know all of it. It's not gruesome content. There's not a lot of blood or something. It's just a person holding a speech and telling you about this. I think there's nothing wrong with knowing more about it, right?
Of course, that's why I'm saying it's also good what you're doing, because it makes people think about it.
Okay, watch that. And then if you decide that you don't want to participate in all of it and you want to go vegan, there's Challenge 22 right there. There's here, you also have it when you scan this. There's Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist. They send you recipes every day for free. All of it is free for 22 days to help you. Like, it's 22 days because it's usually a habitual thing for people, just to curb the habit. You also have personalized help. Somebody will log in with you on the Discord server and help you even further. This is my social.
Okay.
And if there's anything I can leave you with, I know it can seem hard, but the reality is that it's very easy to switch to plant-based diet, to be vegan.
Yeah, I think anything that is not part of your habits, like habit shifting, seems like a very scary sometimes and difficult thing to do. Like, everything that you do is a habit. So straying from that path seems like a lot of work. But when you're looking at why you're doing it, it's just too important not to. So it might seem that way, but it's a lot easier than it lets on.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to them, to this moment, right? It's just like so rare if ever someone's just gonna go vegan right on the spot because he's explained it, and it doesn't matter how well it's explained. Like, it's so rare they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm vegan right now as I walk away. So like we couldn't expect them to say that, but it was really cool how he I like the way that he finished it with where he said, okay, but do you understand these two things? Like, you're responsible and you don't have to be responsible, was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, they had to admit that and be like, yeah. So like in their mind, they're like, I'm responsible for this and I don't even have to be. And he's put that in their mind. Like, that was like quite important.
Yeah. And as you say, like, they won't do it overnight, but these things will be kind of like playing on their mind every so often. It will kind of come up. That's why people talk about planting a seed. You know,
they surely won't forget the conversation, right?
No, and
Like-
that's the thing. When you have a one-to-one conversation with people, it's easy to forget a lot of things, but you'll probably remember a conversation you've had with a stranger that like was about something like an ethical, like especially that caught you out and made you made you think. That there are things that, you know, even as a child that caught me out as an experiment that we had to do at school, and they've sat with me for a long time because just the way psychologically it affected me, just being caught out that way. So I think they'll remember for sure.
Vegan, it's very easy. The only hard part about being vegan is accepting non-vegan people. That's all the only hard part about it. And
That was bold.
That was bold. Yeah.
all the vegan people that I know, all of us say the only regret we have in life is not being vegan sooner, because once you realize what you're participating in, once you realize the fucked up of it, the fucked up side of it, you're like, oh, shit, I really wish I was there earlier, because it is a system of exploitation and abuse, and at some point it is going to end. It's just a matter of where do you want to align yourself. Do you want to align yourself with the part that's violent towards these animals, or the one that's not right now, right?
Very clear.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. What's your name?
Clara.
Claire. Nice to meet you, Claire. And you?
Lisa.
And you?
I'm Chip. Yeah, I'm Chip. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Cyprian, but yeah.
Different. Okay.
Yeah. Going forward, please be aware that when you buy an animal product, you will put an animal through these cruel practices.
Yeah.
And if you don't want that to happen, choose a vegan
Veganism.
lifestyle,
Okay.
or be plant-based until then, and then decide to be vegan. Promise me you'll watch that video
For
just
sure.
to get informed.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go forward, maybe share that video also. And if you want to do it forward, you have all the resources there. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Chip, everybody.
Yeah. Really good. Really good.